Hello everyone, welcome or possibly welcome back. My name is Kaylin and today I thought I'd do a video about how I got into making furry art in the first place. So I think this video will be a little different to some of the other my old furry art type videos because it's only been very recently that I've actually got into drawing furries. Now I've been an artist as long as I can remember, I've been drawing things since as long as I could hold a pencil, and I've been a digital artist since I was about 10 years old, and my dad bought me my very first drawing tablet, which is still the same one that I use to this day. So when I started drawing furries, I wasn't an inexperienced artist, and like I say, it's only been in about the last sort of month or so that I've actually dedicated myself to drawing furries. That's not to say I've never drawn an anthro animal before. Some of my D&D characters in the past, I had a tabaxi and a weaselfolk, and more recently a dragonborn character. So I guess it technically would be a lie to say this is the first time I've ever drawn anthro characters. But this is the first time I've properly locked in to draw proper furries. So I thought I'd walk you through the process with how I have started off developing my style, and of course we're always learning as artists, so my stuff now is probably not at all how my art will look in 3 years time, probably not even 3 months time. So here's a video on the very start to what will hopefully be a long journey. And so I started off, I was at work and I had a bit of downtime, so I just started trying to draw furries without reference, just to see kind of where my skill was at and what I could do. And these first sketches really make me laugh. They're really awkward looking. I feel like they're very much typical insert meme of human artists trying to draw furries. So the best thing to do when you don't know how to draw something is to look at references. So I already had in mind the kind of character that I wanted to make first, and she's a very old character of mine. I've had her probably for about 10 or 11 years now, back in the days when I used to be really into a very specific closed species, and I'm not going to disclose which species that is because I don't feel like getting into that. I don't want to have to credit someone when I've changed the whole design completely since then, but it's her personality and her sort of history. I decided that the animal that would best suit her would be a hyena. So that is why I've chosen some pictures of spotted hyenas, and I just started sketching, to be honest. In her old design, she did have this kind of fringe, this kind of sticky uppy mane, so I thought a hyena would be really good for incorporating that into the design. And so I started sketching. I was trying to get some different facial expressions in there, different angles, just to make sure that I could rotate this head in a 3D space. And again, one of her ears is kind of flopped over as a callback to her old design. I know it's not very realistic for a hyena, but I think it's really cute. So for my sketches, whenever I want to be a bit more loose and a bit more sort of carefree about what I'm designing, I tend to sit at my computer and I use Critter. I also use this with a really old Wacom Intuos tablet that I've had for just far too long. I've tried screen tablets before, but I find I just, for the kind of like looseness of sketching and stuff, my favourite is pen tablets. So that's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm in Critter for these ones. And once I'd done a couple of like faces that I was happy with, the hyena character, her name is Furry, by the way, just before I forget to mention that, named after the girl deer in Bambi, though I didn't want to make her a deer because it would not have fit her personality. Well, maybe it would in a kind of subversive way, but I thought personality-wise she was suited to being a hyena character. So I had another go because I was feeling confident at this point, thinking about some of Furly's friends in her lore. Again, these are other adoptables from this closed species that I had, so I'm redesigning them because I want them all to be together again. So yes, this is the next character. His name is Alphonse. Weirdly, I decided that he would be a deer, specifically a little muntjac deer, because I thought that suited him personality-wise. Him being quite sort of shy, maybe a bit sort of jumpy. I think being a deer suited him far more than it did Feline. So yeah, I was kind of happy more with how the style was coming along now. And I'm still not 100% thrilled with it, but it's much better than what we started at. So then it was time for a full body. Yeah, well, I wasn't too adventurous with a full body, I suppose. It's basically just a human's body, but I had fun drawing it. I wanted her to be a bit more on the kind of stocky side. I think hyenas are quite sort of thick, stocky animals, so I wanted to give her this kind of like thick, curvy, stocky body. And whilst at this point here, this is just a sketch so that I can work out her clothes, I was quite liking the shape of this. I thought it was suiting her well. Yeah, in my design process, I find clothes one of the most difficult things to do. I've never been interested in fashion, and so my knowledge on it is zero. But luckily, Pinterest is your best friend, and I found plenty of references for like cool outfits, specifically cool outfits on like curvier bodies, thicker bodies, and so I was basically just referencing those, and I just draw a single pose, and I start off by blocking out the outfits in just solid colours in a grayscale, just so that I know the values, I know how well the values work together in the design. And normally when I do this process, I'll do 3 per page, and by the time I've done the 3rd one, I have a clearer idea of the kind of thing I'm looking for, and so the next page will just be a refining of those ideas. I'll add things, take things away, change the shape of things slightly, and so in the end it was this middle one that I really like, and I did put a test colour palette on here, but I don't actually end up using it. It would have been nice to give her blue jeans, but alas, it did not fit the colour scheme as well as I would have liked. I really like the star patches on the knees though. This has become a common theme in my furry designs, is giving them a star motif, so maybe that's just a thing that I should take with me. So then it is reference sheet time, and again this is a totally unnecessary step, but I really love doing ref sheets. So, of course, we started with this. Once again, drawing a front pose and a back pose. Again, trying to get through this curvy body. And, well, I'll change the position of the hand in a moment. I was really happy with how this back pose looked, because I do quite often struggle with them. But I wanted to get this silly kind of mane in there going slightly down her back. And I do use the front-facing pose again to be a reference for the clothes. Just sketching those out. And I always like to put a couple of little expression call-outs, headshots on my ref sheets, just so that I've got a close-up of her face, and so that I can make sure to know which ear it is that has this kind of curve in it. And also the arrangement of her piercings and stuff. I refined these sketches a little bit in Critter and then brought them back into Procreate before I started lining. Considering at this point this is the first furry ref sheet I had ever made, I was really happy. Then it was on to colouring. So I like to keep my colours quite natural. I don't know what it is. I do like the occasional unnatural colour, but no, anything kind of unnatural wasn't quite appealing to me for Feline. Her original character design didn't use any unnatural colours, so I did just want to stick with kind of how a hyena looks, and I know that's not very adventurous, but it's my character and I say what the colour scheme is. So I coloured her in, front, back, and these headshots, and yes, I changed the colour of the trousers, which was sad. Truthfully, I did want to go with this colour scheme all along, but I worried that the green and the black would look a little bit Kim Possible. But I never watched Kim Possible as a kid, so it doesn't read that way to me. And again, it's my character, and I get to choose the colour scheme. The spots were really fun to draw as well. I was worried that would be annoying. They are just going to have to kind of be like random spots, wherever you want to put them. I am not making note of where each individual spot goes. And then at some point I changed one of the spots on her shoulder to be a star. Again, the star motif coming through, consistency. But then I realised with the pose and with the star placement where it is, it does look like a little bit of a JoJo reference, but you know what, that's not the end of the world. So I left it in there because I thought it was cute. She needed a star spot somewhere, and then of course it is on to fussing with the layout for the ref sheet. Oh my gosh, this was even harder than trying to work out my Kaylin ref sheet layout, because this was the first time I tried it, and I couldn't understand how people got theirs looking so pretty. But I do think I managed to get something pretty solid in the end. I like the way the bluey green like contrasts with the character, and of course blue is my favourite colour, so I'll never complain there. Tried putting this kind of star pattern in the background, but it was a little bit noisy, so I did erase it in the part where there was the most detail, put in a little bit of information about her, and then I was done. Feline's ref sheet was completed, and I had my very first furry character. So for a first try, I was actually quite pleased with this, quite proud of myself, and I still am. I think it's, yeah, a really nice little piece. She's a fun character design that I would happily draw again, and of course I hope to in future. That's all I really have to say on the matter of how I got started drawing furries. I hope this video can provide some kind of insight on how you literally can just jump straight in. Even if you had no experience drawing furries, I urge you to just literally give it a go, because it is a lot of fun, and at the end you might have something that you're really proud of. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video soon.